Kansas City did not. What does that tell?
The public's never going to approve a stadium. Now, the easiest I have ever seen anyone get a stadium was the Titans. I can't remember any acrimony in this new stadium. And usually, and one of the reasons, now, did I miss a lot of acrimony and a lot of negativity with fans and media and business people and politicians? If it was there, then I don't remember it. And I think that has to do with the popularity of Amy Adams Strunk. Anything that they needed public money here when the Oilers were here, it was all about Bud Adams, and Bud was incredibly unpopular at that point. And but with Amy being as popular as she is, that helped her. And there was no venom, no voters coming out, oh, no, I don't want us to do anything for Amy Adams Strunk. And here all the politicians were scared they'd be voted out of office if they did anything that looked like they were helping Bud Adams make more money. Where up there, her popularity and respect helped them get that new stadium. And they're ahead of those other two, of course. Buffalo's haven't had – I can't remember. Did Buffalo take a public vote? I don't think so. Kansas City did. Now what will happen is the Kansas City, Missouri, politicians and business leaders will do like they did in the other states. They will get together and find a way to come up with the money to keep the Chiefs from moving across the border.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy about that. I will say, though, that the now mayor of Nashville, Freddie O'Connell, as a councilman before he was elected mayor, was adamantly against the stadium, and a lot of people were on his side about that. But once they start breaking ground and talking about Final Fours and Super Bowls coming here, everybody gets on the same page. So it really goes for naught on this. John, is there any chance you think Kansas City moves to Kansas if they don't get this win? This looks bad for the team against the city.
Well, I'm the wrong one to ask because I thought there's no way the Oilers would leave Houston, and then when they were leaving, I thought they were. The expansion franchise was going to L.A. So everything I wrote and said at the time was wrong. But I'll say Clark Hunt is a respected owner, and they need to find a way to get everybody together. And I think that Missouri will keep them. I don't think they will let them get away and go to Kansas.
We're talking to John McClain from Houston, and kind of continuing this discussion, he brought up Jacksonville. I think for a while we all thought that Jacksonville was going to end up in London, didn't we? And now they're going to do this new stadium. I mean, is this a different mindset by Shad Khan? Is this Tony Khan influencing his father or knowing that they need to stay in the States and stay in Jacksonville? What do you think the shift in thought was?
Well, there's not going to be a franchise in London for a long time. And when there is, they say they need to have two franchises there like they have in L.A. And so I'm guessing Tony Khan, the son, is very involved in everything. His dad is the boss, but his dad, I'm sure, was influenced by him and some others. And the fact that it was easy to do, they built they spent a lot of money on a portable practice facility out in the parking lot, and that cost a few $1 million. So they've been very good about doing that. The key now, you say $1.4 billion. By the time that thing's done, it'll be $2.5 or $3 billion. The number they put out initially when it's approved is going to be chicken feed to what it's going to cost eventually. I remember in L.A. when they started saying, well, it'll be a little more than Jerry World. Jerry World was $1.2 billion, probably be about $2 billion, ended up being $5 billion. And I don't know what all they have planned, if they have a combination of commercial and private, anything around it, entertainment. Usually owners want that now. And I like where the Jaguar Stadium is. The access is great for everybody to get in and out. But I'm happy for them, and I'm happy for the fans because, it's going to be weird. Are they going to play in Gainesville? Are they going to play in Orlando? Are they going to play in both of those stadiums? Will they play more games?
Haven't they looked at Daytona, like Daytona International Speedway?
Yeah, I can't imagine the NFL would
Yeah.
do that, because when you move and play, you've got to have your facility up to NFL standards. And that speedway, I can't imagine it would be. Plus, it looked like what does that seat? Does that seat 100,000?
Well, they reduced it. I think it's like 60 now.
Well, if they did that, then it wouldn't look like a ghost town like most speedways would. But I don't see that, because they have to spend a lot of money to get it to where the NFL would approve it, as well as the NFLPA.
So now that they're looking at the division, Jacksonville is going to get a $1.4 billion stadium. The Titans are building a new stadium. Obviously, Houston and Indy are still fairly new, but are we going to see some renovations at some point? Because you know that things are ever changing, technology is ever changing. What do you think the future is there?
Well, they need renovations. The stadium here was completed in 2001. They started playing in it in 2002. You know, your stadium was moved into in 1999. I was there for that first game. It's amazing today. The one that always blew me away was Turner Field. And when they built Truist Park in the ritzy suburb, which has been incredible for the Braves, because we saw the numbers that they made when they won the World Series over the Astros, and how they got that with Turner Field being right downtown and not relatively new, but not needing a new stadium. And of course, they want all the bells and whistles, include as many suites as you can get. And a lot of teams today, Patriots being prominent one, build things around the stadium for entertainment, and they get most of that money all year round. It's like the Red Sox were the first. I remember they bought up everything around Fenway Park, built things. Most of they pay taxes, of course, and I don't know if they pay rent or not, but they make a fortune from the area right around the stadium. And that's what you want. You want to bring in as much income as possible, like they did, and Stan Kroenke has done with the Rams and SoFi Stadium. So in Houston, they're going to need renovations. Those suites, while nice at the time, they pale in comparison to the suites most teams have with newer stadiums.
John, great stuff as always. We appreciate it. We will talk to you next week.
Guys, thank you very much, and congrats to all the Tennessee alums out there who are celebrating that national championship.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Yes, and Tennessee fans are celebrating for sure. Coming up next, there's a big event coming up. Obviously, NASCAR is coming to our city at the Hour number 2, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Wednesday. It's going to be a big weekend of racing in our city. Of course, NASCAR and the Ally 400 weekend out at the Nashville Superspeedway. But coming up tomorrow night at the Fairgrounds Speedway, the Battle of Broadway 150. Really looking forward to this. Some short track racing at its best. We say hello to Bob Sargent of the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway and Track Enterprises. Bob, good morning. How are you?
Well, good morning. I'm doing really well.
Thanks so much for doing this. We're excited to talk to you, and also excited for some great short track racing Thursday night. I know that you got a couple of Cup drivers that are going to come check it out, including one that is from here locally, Josh Berry. I spoke to him a couple weeks ago, and he's excited because he's only raced the Legends car track at the Nashville Fairgrounds, so he's excited to get up on the big track. I know you guys have to be excited too.
Yeah, we really are. You know, we set this date in conjunction with the Super Speedway and the NASCAR events, and you know, we've got our just 2 divisions here, so it's going to be a quick, easy show. Get people in and out and be able to go to work on Friday morning, but a lot of good racing here. We've got our CRA Pro late models. The Nashville guys will all be competing against these Cup guys and some guys from out of town. And then we've also got our CRA Street Stocks. So same thing there. A lot of people from out of town, and then a lot of local drivers too. So 2 big races tomorrow night here at the fairgrounds.
And I guess the schedule of events, the grandstands will open at 4. Street Stocks will go first at 6 o'clock, and then the big show, the Battle of Broadway 150 at 7:30. Correct?
Yes, that's still on correct. We will have a autograph session with Ross and some of the drivers, Ross Chastain, at 5 o'clock and under the grandstand. So just want to invite everybody out for the autograph session too.
How important was it to have the buy-in by, you know, Josh obviously being a local guy and he's building, you know, his popularity in the Cup Series as a rookie, but Ross Chastain, guy that's won out at the Super Speedway, he's won all over, you know, he's popular. To have those guys want to be a part of this, how important was that?
Well, it really is. You know, we're fortunate to have these guys that come back and race with these late models. And again, the cars are all the same, so it'll be a very competitive night. These guys will be going for the win. They have really good race cars. But, man, our local guys and our regional guys will definitely give them a run for the money. So we've got a good mix, and that makes for great racing action out on the racetrack.
Bob, is there any chance we could somehow ban Mike Organ from driving the pace car?
Hey, that's a project we got to work on that a little more.
He only took 57 pictures while driving, so at least he didn't mess anything up, right?
That's right. Didn't mess anything up. So, yeah, well, Mike does a great job in what he does covering motorsports and everything else in Nashville. But, yeah, man, like I said, we're really looking forward to tomorrow night. It's just a fun night for us all, a chance for the race fans to come out on a weeknight and see some really good racing.
You know, Bob, Mike, and Chase, and I absolutely love the Fairgrounds Speedway. What would you, but have never been out there, what would you tell them why they should come out tomorrow night?
I think 2 things come to mind first, and a lot of that's history. This place has a tremendous amount of history. But along with that history, it's still one of the nicest, coolest facilities in the United States. Big 5/8 mile, ring with billboards, covered big grandstand, victory lane stages. I mean, it's just laid out, just beautiful for racing for both the drivers and the fans. So a lot of history here, but still a very modern and nice facility to come watch a race at.
How important is it for a guy like, say, Dale Jr., who loves the Fairgrounds Speedway, also tells people, you got to check it out. You got to go there, you got to sit and you'll fall in love with it. How important is it to not only the mission, but the history and what you guys want to keep over there?
It's very important. Dale Jr. has been a big supporter. Of course, he raced here. He's a big guy on history and tradition, and that's what this place brings. So many famous drivers have raced here, won here, and throughout the time. And again, I think the thing that intrigues us and the NASCAR drivers now is the fact that it's still very viable. It's still a fun, great place to race. It's exciting. It's laid out well. It's clean and beautiful here on the new grounds at the fairgrounds. So just a lot of good things going on out here.
Bob Sargent is with us from the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. And, with all this talk about the future and things like that, you have an event like this, it's going to get people that, as Joe mentioned, that haven't been there before, get their attention to see great racing. I've talked to different NASCAR drivers that want to come to the fairgrounds, that want to race there. They love the super speedway. They want to do both because the way they look at it as you're going to see two completely different forms of racing. And so how important is it for people to understand that like it's not just cars on a track going one direction and passing each other. Tracks have character. Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway has a ton of character, and they can see a great show.
Yeah, it means a lot, and you're right. These racetracks all have different characters to them, whether it be the super speedway where NASCAR goes, or these iconic facilities like here at Nashville or Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola, Florida. I mean, all these facilities we call grassroots. I mean, these are weekly racetracks that we can come here and have weekly racers and people do their hobbies and have excitement here. We're, Nashville's fortunate. We have two tracks. We have a quarter mile and a 5/8, and it's just laid out really good. So there is a lot of character to this place. At the fairgrounds here is the character to the facility.
Bob, I know you're there every day and you've seen the speedway and all the people, everything. At the end of the day, what do you love, not only about your job, but about this iconic speedway?
Well, I tell people about my job. Race car drivers or any athlete out there is very competitive. And I just feel that the promoter or the business guy is got the same competitive level. We try to make sure the place is clean and the bathrooms are kept up, the concessions are good, and, we just have really good entertainment, and the fans get to come see a good, quick 2-3 hour show. So that's our competitive side of this. That's what I enjoy.
I love it. All right, again, run down tomorrow. What's going to happen? What time should folks get there? Because I think you shouldn't show up at race time. I think you need to get there and soak it all in, because that place, look, I grew up here, Bob. That place means the world to me. It means the world to Chase and guys like Mike Organ. So kind of what time should people get there and kind of get things going tomorrow?
Well, it's a work day, and we're all familiar with that. So we've started things a little bit later. We'll be having 2 practices during the day. And then, again, for the fans, really, autographs are at 5 o'clock. And then we will have the first race, which will be the street stocks, at 6 o'clock. And then we will have the 150-lap late model race at 7:30. So those are the basic times. You can get all this information. You can get parking maps. You can get pricing, everything on our website, probably a link to your website. But just feel free to Google us and go to any of the sites, and you'll be able to find out all the information you need. Or you can even still call. We still use the telephones here also.
And also one of the marquee events, one of my favorite events coming up in November, All-American 400 weekend. You can get your tickets